One of my favorite days of the week is Wednesday. You know why? Because my man Jabari is here. Let us go right now. Let's go. Right, man. One of my favorite days of the week. When you're not here on Wednesday, I feel like a part of my life is empty, an emptiness there. Welcome to Last Minute Betting. Brought to you by OddsJam, the premier odds comparison company for sports bettors worldwide. Don't forget about the OddsJam Partner Program. 50% revenue share, folks. Go there now. There's a link below in the description. And you got to check out the picks from the Sports Nuts. Me, Mike, Tony. Tony and I are up 31 units in golf. We're down a few units to start off, but you know what? We're up about 28 units total between both packages. Go get your 14-day free trial. Link below in the description. Yes. Well, the last time you were on here, it was just me and you, and we had a very spirited discussion talking about a lot of different things. By the way, I saw somebody put on X yesterday that if Ohtani hits a home in his first spring training at bat, he's going to give away some money. Obviously, he gave away some money because that's exactly what Ohtani did. I don't even know if I want to go through baseball season because when I look at the top three hitters in the Dodgers lineup, what do we got? Betts, Ohtani, and Freeman?
Pretty much. It's Freddie, Betts, Ohtani.
Or whatever, I mean, Betts is probably going to lead off, but my God, they're not going to pull Freeman out of the third slot, dude. I'm telling you, because he's been too productive, But, and then, I mean, Yamamoto, I shared something on Twitter, that they got that camera angle, the camera that's like right behind the catcher, like an umpire. If you've seen any of those, man, he could spin that friggin' ball. I mean, he could spin it. It's not just the power. He could spin it, and when you can do that with a top of the line fastball, you're going to be tough. So spring training's here, though. That's cool. I love it. That means the weather's getting warmer, right? And we're that much closer to the NBA playoffs, which I know that you love. Then I do too. Trae Young being out with Atlanta, probably going to hurt them quite a bit. They're already 7 games under 500 and in that final play-in spot or whatever the hell they call that. I can't remember. Is that what they call it? Is that a play-in?
Yeah, because it's a play-in tournament. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So they were in the 10th spot there. All 10 teams in the West are all 2 games over 500 or better. And but I don't think Minnesota's going to wrap up the Western Conference. I don't think that they're going to be able to do it and hang on. What do you think?
To be honest, it's gonna have to depend on what Ant does. Last night he had a non-contact injury. He tried to run off to go and get the ball, and basically he just fell on the ground and just started immediately holding down there by his Achilles. Shit. People aren't sure if he strained his Achilles or if he's actually strained his ankle. So that's gonna depend on if they wrap up the West. If he can be 100%, I think they can wrap up the West. They're the best defensive team in the league. Yeah. You have Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, and then you got the veteran leadership of people like Mike Conley. That team is pretty much right for going to the championship, but getting out of the West is going to be tough.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that they're the best team in the West yet. They are the best defensive team in all of basketball. No two ways about it. Hands down, they are. No two ways about it. Um, a team that intrigues me is Indiana because they have the best. They're the highest scoring team in the NBA, and they are the third worst defensive team in all the NBA. As a matter of fact, only Atlanta and Washington have given up more points. And now with Trae Young, being out for Atlanta, that's probably going to be even worse for them. But Indiana, you're going to have to play defense at some time. I'm really not sure what they're doing over there. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, so if you know anything about NBA pace, pace basically means how many times are they running up and down this floor and how fast. Indiana is second in overall pace, right? And
Okay.
this was a big thing for the Clippers and the Lakers in the last couple of years. They were like, the Lakers need to get back up tempo. There's just not a lot of transition opportunities in the game. Well, the Pacers optimize transitions. They do not play a lot of go back and set up defense kind of sets. They're
Right.
very much a transition team. So
Right.
because of that, the thing that you throw away with that kind of team is defense. So
Right.
just to put that in perspective, it's either really slow and defensive or you're high pace and less defensive. And to put that in perspective, right? The Knicks, the Bulls, and the Heat are all last three in pace. And when you think the Knicks and the Heat, especially, pretty good defensively, they have defensive minded coaches, right? So
Right.
they slow down the pace. But, the Pacers, they just play at a high pace. So because of that, they don't
Maybe that's why
really
they
play a
call
lot
them
of defense.
maybe that's why they call them the Pacers.
Maybe.
I mean,
Maybe.
they are setting the pace, fast pace. Stephen Batza here with another Stevie B parlay. Florida minus 13.5, Northwestern plus 5.5, Duke minus 9.5 first half, California Cal plus 11.5, Alabama money line, and he's got plus 2205 with a college basketball boost. I'm guessing you got that on DraftKings. That's what I'm guessing that is happening there. Let's see. Anything crazy happening in the world of sports right now?
Not
Not a
really.
lot. Not a lot in the NHL tonight. 2 games. How many games are in the NBA?
5,
5.
4 or 5.
Yeah. Not a big slate of games tonight. A ton of college basketball tonight, folks.
Mm-hmm.
A ton of college basketball. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Jabari, I've been doing live EV betting, and I'm going to tell you right now, buddy, college basketball totals, they can be so great sometimes, and they can be so friggin' bad sometimes. I took, and it was an EV play, under 133.5 between Utah State and Fresno State. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Fresno State, you know, free throws, they're up by 3 with 3 seconds to play. The only way I lose this bet is if it goes to overtime. And of course, another one of those prayer 3-pointers hits, and the total was 136. I had under 133.5, and it was locked. I mean, it was locked. It was game over. And the whole time I'm watching this game, I'm thinking, boy, I'm looking good, but I sure hope this don't go to overtime. That's what happens when you're betting live sometimes, folks. But then again, I caught Colorado and Dallas under 8.5 and under 7.5 last night and won both those bets. So, and I very rarely bet hockey live. I'm kind of weird about that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't bet hockey live a lot because I'm not really comfortable with that aspect. I will bet a team like second period when
Mhm.
I know that they're high scoring in the second period, like the Blues were a few years ago, and Colorado has been in the past. But for the most part, I don't bet hockey live, but I may start. I bet a lot of college basketball live
Mhm.
because there's so many games and there are so many opportunities out there. So I know you're not a big totals guy. I know you're more a point spread kind of guy. I like betting college basketball totals. Um, I like betting NBA totals too because I've been playing the overs a lot this year, and hell, they've been winning, hands down. I mean, over 230.5. Oh yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And I don't know if the scoring up league wide in the NBA.
It feels that way. I don't know the statistics around it, but it does feel that way because of how deep the three ball is this year. Like every team is pretty much implementing the three ball in some way, shape, or form, right? So, you know,
Have we talked since the All Star game?
I don't
No.
think we have.
Okay, so that's that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is.
we're just gonna bomb threes all night long, and it's really boring. And you know what, Jokic, I love the guy, but you know what, that game ain't for him.
I personally believe, and I told a couple friends this as well. Personally, I believe um that if they don't want to play, that's cool. You can still be named the All Star. You just won't play in the game, right?
Right.
You'll still get your All Star contingent, but you won't be in the game. And they should bump up the slots from 12 to 15. And then you'll have 3 reserve spots, basically 3 IR spots.
Yeah.
Those 3 stars that don't want to play for the rest of the 12. Um, personally for me, I feel like if you don't play, even if you don't play hard enough, then I don't feel like you should get the game check either.
Yeah.
Because fans pay to go watch that. Back in the day, we used to watch Kobe, we used to watch MJ, we used to watch Jason Kidd, all these All Stars playing that game, and that's what made the All Star game iconic.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh well.
so
Hey. What the slam dunk contest between Dominique and MJ catapulted that competition to
yeah,
to a completely another level. And wasn't it Bird uh, in the 3-point contest? Who
yeah,
was
Larry
it?
Bird won like 2 in a row.
Yeah. So those kinds of stars coming out and doing it's one thing that disappoints me about the dunk contest. Although I did like the kid that won, who his first
Oh,
dunk.
Mac, yeah,
Yeah, his
Mac's
first
always a
dunk.
certified dunker.
Oh, his first dunk, where he let the ball go in midair and caught it and then dunked
Yeah,
while he was jumping over somebody. That was the best dunk of the whole night. Period.
yeah. Mac
Bar
Mac has been a dunker since high school. If you've ever seen Mac McClung, or even if you've come across some of his high school highlights, which I'm sure you have on Twitter, he's always been a certified dunker. He's one of those kids in high school that we grew up with,
right.
watching ball his life, or we're like, good God, like kids just got bunnies for legs. So yeah, I feel like personally for me, the good dunk contest that I can remember there was a one with Dwight that wasn't too bad. But the best one that I can remember was Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon. Hands down,
That was
has
a
been
good
the
one. Yeah.
best dunk contest in my lifetime, at least,
Right.
that I've witnessed and been like, okay, yeah, this is up there with the All
Right.
Star greats, and it'll never get better than that because they don't take it seriously, and everybody they put in there pretty much just ain't like that anymore. Like Mac, if they put Mac in there a third time, Mac is gonna win it again.
Right. I did though. First of all, I didn't know Jalen Brown could dunk like that. So
Yeah,
I was
he can
actually
jump,
he
but
went to another level that I'm not used to seeing him at. So I was impressed with him. The rest of them, I could care less. Now the my goodness, the Curry uh, contest. with the WNBA girl. I thought that was cool as hell.
Yeah, it was. And I think they should do it again next year. They should
Yeah.
do Sabrina and Caitlin Clark versus Curry and Dame.
Oh shit.
That would
That
be
would
fire.
be awesome, dude.
I'm
My
telling you, they should
God.
hire me because I fixed All Star
Okay.
game. Like, we're coming in. Look, if you're not playing, that's cool. I respect that, but you're just not getting a game check. Like, we'll
Right.
donate your game check to a charity, but
Charity.
you're not getting the game check.
There you
You know,
go. That's a great idea. My good, you ought to be commissioner.
because this is just ridiculous, bro. I'm like I said, people actually pay to travel to go to the All Star game to watch that. It's very bad.
Oh
So
yes, yes, I agree 100%. It's just it's changed a lot, and there's not the passing isn't what it once was, and I don't know, it's just weird. So, uh, Dallas, I want to talk about them real quick. As a matter of fact, while I do that, let me go ahead and share my screen. I want to pull this up here real quick. Hang on. Let me go to NBA. And let's go to futures. And you know what? Let's just go for, by the way, Monk in the lead as sixth man of the year.
Yeah.
It's still in the same spot, I think, as the last time we looked at that. Let me find it. Western Conference winner. So, Dallas. Would you sprinkle on them at all to come out of the West?
Absolutely not.
Okay, and tell me why.
I had a conversation with some friends where they were like, "This Dallas team is better than previous Luka Dallas teams," and I kind of disagree with that because Luka had a team. He had more depth when it was Spencer Dinwiddie, Jalen Brunson. They had other people that added depth to the team, and this team
Right,
is very top heavy. It's Kyrie, Luca. They added in some pieces. Daniel Gafford came in, played good, but then they stopped playing him all of a sudden, which didn't make any sense. PJ Washington came in, made an impact, and they stopped kind of playing him all of a sudden. Tim Hardaway came in, was looking like a good 6 man of the year candidate, and then he stops playing. They reduce his minutes, so it's Jason Kidd. I'm sure at this point, Jason Kidd does not know what he wants to do with this team. And
right.
if he doesn't get it together pretty quickly, they're gonna fire him. If by this year they don't make a run, he's getting fired. They're moving on.
Right. Okay.
Dallas is just not a contender. They don't have the depth is the problem. Luka plays heavy minutes. In the playoffs, that's not gonna work. It's not.
So when we look at the West here, and Nuggets, and Clippers, but the Suns, OKC, and T Wolves section. In actuality, you can get the T Wolves at plus 900 right now, Oklahoma City at plus 800, and Phoenix at plus 900. Those three are kind of in a dogfight there, as far as the odds makers are concerned. Getting a team that you think's going to win the regular season West, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Getting a team like that now plus 900 to come out of the West, is it a different mindset for you? Are you going to go, you know what? I think I'll just put that bet on DraftKings on Denver. Or do you really think the T-Wolves can come out of the West?
I think the T-Wolves can come out of the West. Me personally, like I said again, it depends on Ant.
Right.
It's gonna heavily depend on Ant, but the T-Wolves have a great chance to come out of the West. It doesn't matter which way you slice it, even if it is Denver, Denver's still 2 games behind. So Denver needs to make up 2 games and then some. And what we probably have about another 23, 24 games left in the season, right? So if the T-Wolves even win 20 of those, it's going to be absolutely hard for Denver. And that's assuming that OKC also slips down because OKC and Minnesota are both 2 games ahead Denver versus Denver. So like between the 4 teams, if I had to take the 4 teams you should sprinkle on, Minnesota, OKC, Denver, and the Clippers. The Suns are absolutely not
Right.
winning the West. Absolutely not. The Pelicans, absolutely not. the Mavs are not coming out of 8th place. They're 8 games behind. So they would technically need to start a run now. They would need to start a run now to catch up and even have a chance on getting to first or second. They would need to go on an 8-game win streak pretty much now.
Right.
And I just, again, don't see that happening. So 4 teams: Minnesota, OKC, Denver, LA Clippers. You should make money out of either you put $10 on either one of them, where it's 10 to win 60 on one, 10 to win 80 on another. Like, even if you put $10 between all of them, regardless, you're going to make profit.
Right. I think the 2 teams out of all the teams in the playoffs, if they were the season was to end now, that are in that bottom tier playing, Golden State and the Lakers are the most dangerous play-in teams. Would you agree?
No, they're old.
Okay, so you're thinking old. Sacramento or Dallas is more dangerous?
Yeah, I think Dallas would be more dangerous than the Warriors, at least.
Okay, all right. I mean, because if you go to the East, ain't nobody really too dangerous down there. I mean, I guess
nobody's coming out of that playing and winning no kind of championship. The East is like we'll just use this as a barometer, right? The 7th seed in the East is 13 and a half games behind first place.
Right.
The West team is 7.5.
Right.
So that should tell you which conference got the better competition right now.
Oh, yeah.
And it ain't the East.
Absolutely. And the East has the 2 worst teams in all the NBA who have identical records. Unbelievable. And 2 of the worst defensive teams in all of the NBA. It just blows my mind. You know what? I'm just going to ask this. What in the hell is the Detroit Pistons? Do they know what the hell they're even doing there?
No,
I mean,
they never have.
This is ridiculous. They're just terrible.
They need to trade Cade Cunningham.
Steven Batson says Jabari for NBA corporate.
I wish. Maybe one day.
You're not tall enough.
Yeah, probably not. But
can you dunk though?
I used to be able to when I was in high school, but now, nah.
I never could dunk.
I used to could get up there in high school, but now, nah.
I couldn't shoot either. All right, yeah, we made a few changes on the EV page. Don't freak out about them. We got a new formula. We're trying to get you more winners. So remember that. It's just going to take a little bit of an adjustment to what we're doing. I do like the fact that we can put this in focus filters over. That's not going to work yet. I do like that some of the offshore global books you can have in game mode. If we want to go to Bovada and go to the game, it puts you at the game right there. So if you're already logged in, that's a game changer. Okay. And once again, I'll say this, the one-click bet, which right now is on FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, and BetMGM, we'll put that play in your bet slip, folks. So that is, once again, some of the things that we've been working on to better your experience. Shit ton of positive EV plays right now. If I was to go back and use my filters, I'd have to get out of focus mode and actually go here and click on my recommended filters. But I'm not going to be able to look at focus mode. This is going to show you both sides with only one that you're playing. But when I scroll through here, look at the high percentage plays that are now showing up. There's a ton out here. Okay. We have changed the formula and we feel like it is going to be better for your experience.
Mm-hmm.
You're also going to see some pinnacle lines out here too. Jokic over 9.5 assists tonight. So, Ant, you're worried about him even playing tonight?
Not necessarily even playing. If the Timberwolves are smart, they wouldn't play him personally. I'd sit him out for the next 5 games. But you know, it's not that I'm necessarily worried about him playing. It's about him playing at 100%
Right.
because nobody knows exactly what happened. So that's the problem. Um, they say it's an ankle. And from what I've been seeing, everybody say it's an ankle, and he's been retweaking that ankle like pretty frequently. Like almost every other game, he's retweaking that same ankle. So you kind of like, I get it. You're trying to lock up the number 1 seed, but you kind of need to give his ankle a rest, because if you don't, and he tears something in his ankle, or worse, God forbid, you you could hang up the playoffs. He is your best overall player. He
Right.
is.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, I'm blown away by him. I think he's. I mean, in my opinion, he ought to be MVP.
He's what they thought Andrew Wiggins would turn into.
Yeah, yeah,
But but Andrew Wiggins had a better wingspan. So they were definitely hoping Andrew Wiggins would turn into them. Then they would have a dynamic duo between Andrew Wiggins and Cat. But Wiggins has shown he needs to not be a 1 or 2 option. He needs to be a 3 or 4.
right.
So
Let's take a look at something here. Uh, some futures in college basketball. March Madness to make the Final Four. Now, I want you to take a look at these numbers because your Houston Cougars are right up there, and they're the number 1 team in the nation, baby. Woo! Your top 4: Connecticut, Houston, Purdue, Arizona. I have a future on Arizona to win it all, but this is to make the Final Four. Obviously, different odds here. Uh, you know, there's no doubt in my mind that UConn and Houston are getting a number 1 seed.
and they're making the Final Four.
Yeah, I think they're both making the Final Four.
No doubt.
I think probably Purdue is going to have a number 1 seed, probably. I
Yeah,
don't
they
know
should.
about Arizona getting that number 1 seed. That
They should
could
not.
be up in the air. Now, Tennessee and Auburn play tonight. And I'm just going to tell you, this is a big game uh, in the SEC. Okay, I mean this is a big game. This is going to change this a lot. As you could see, the books aren't real hip to Marquette, and you know what? I like Marquette, but not that much. I think Bama is dangerous.
I don't
Uh,
think so. I think they're
okay,
a pretty overrated team.
okay. Uh, you know what? You know that there are going to be some teams. What about Kentucky? What about Kansas?
I
What about
think Duke and Kansas are probably your sneakily dangerous teams.
what about
So
Illinois? They fought. I'm in Illinois, man. The Fighting Illini. I mean, come on, man. They whipped up on some teams, but their problem is defensively because they have given up a lot of points to teams like Michigan State and what have you that are not very good, and letting them get 80 points or Northwestern 90 points. You're not going to be able to do that and win in March Madness, right?
right.
But, you know, I got to root for the Illini. All right. So let's real quick look at some odds for March Madness winners. And here we go. Same order. Okay. But man, I mean, if you're going for your Cougars right now, plus 750, man.
Yeah, but I don't think there was one year we were able to, have a chance, and Baylor was the number 1 defensive team in the nation that year. Baylor knocks us off. Now we're pretty much the number 1 defensive team in the nation. So, it's gonna be a little crazy, just a little bit. So I don't think we win it all this year. As bad as that is to say, I don't think we win it all. But Final Four, Elite Eight, guaranteed. We're definitely going back to the Final Four, Elite Eight,
I
barring
do.
some injury.
I don't think Connecticut's going back to back.
They got a great team.
I know.
And I don't know how they had this good of a team back to back years.
I know.
It's actually quite absurd that they have this good of a team on back to back years, but their team is pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with you. And speaking of Baylor, you know, you can get them at plus 5,000 to win it all. No matter what you say, that Baylor team, that coach can friggin' coach. He's a good coach. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't think they'd be worth a damn. I really didn't think they'd be a great team. They are a lot better than what I thought. And that game against Houston, what a game. That was a fabulous game. On both sides. I really enjoyed that game a lot. But Baylor's the type of team that I think is Sweet 16 bound. And don't be surprised if they could sneak their way into the Elite Eight and maybe Final Four. They are that type of team. Kansas, man, I don't know.
Kansas is really good offensively, in my opinion. So just saying they're pretty good.
When you're dealing with teams like Creighton with Kalkbrenner and Purdue with what's his name, Evie or what? The big guy's name, isn't that his name, Evie?
You talking about Jake? The Ede, the tall guy from Purdue.
Yeah.
Yeah, Edey. Yeah, I think it's Edey. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's Edey. Okay. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Zach Edey.
Okay.
Zach Edey. Yeah, Edey.
That's his name.
He is just. He's to me is too inconsistent of a big guy. But Kalkbrenner the same way. Like I don't see big guys dominating in college basketball. I mean, you're not seeing a David Robinson or Shaq, or that type of guy out on the floor anymore. But as a matter of fact, maybe those days are gone because all these 7-footers want to shoot 3-pointers anymore.
Not necessarily, but the game isn't played inside out anymore. It's played outside in. Yeah. So it's not played in the paint and then they, stretch out, but it's outside in. So everything is coming from the 3-point line. So
right. But you're putting it inside, but then you're kicking it back out. Yeah. And we're constantly making that extra pass to get a wide open 3-pointer. And that's happening all the time. I don't know, with the way these guys can fire the ball and the way they can catch it, I don't know how you stop that defensively. I mean, unless you play zone. That's about the only way you're going to stop that. Ask Jim Boeheim. He did it for a number of years at Syracuse, at the Qs. All right, man. Well, let's see. Who you got tonight? Who's balling tonight for you? Got anybody balling tonight?
Luka. It's his birthday.
Oh. All right. Okay. I'm going to go with who's pucking tonight because I'm taking the low total on the goals in the game between the Blues and Edmonton. It's on TNT. I'm going with my man, Jordan Bennington. He's having a hell of a year. He's the only thing keeping that team above water, in my opinion, right now. So I'm going with my boy, Jordan Bennington, and I'm going to be a homer. All right, Jabari. Once again, spirited talk. I love it when you're here. I miss you when you're not.
Peace.
Have a great night, folks. See you tomorrow night. Peace. Hey, don't forget Golf Plays, Golf Gurus. They're coming tomorrow or tonight sometime. Look for them. up 31.283 units. We got it down to the thousands, baby. See you later.